along the coast overnight. Towering waves slammed ashore, turning the sea into a dangerous and destructive force. By the time the morning commute began, many roads had turned into rivers. This was the M1. In County Fermanagh, a woman was taken to hospital after a tree fell on her car in Lisbon. Her injuries are not believed to be serious. This is a stark reminder of just how treacherous driving became under the amber weather warning. Strong gusts led to thousands of homes and businesses without electricity. At the storm's peak, 10,000 power cuts were recorded by NIE at 9 o'clock this morning. This bridge in Rostrevor in County Down collapsed after being overwhelmed by severe conditions. But the storm's impact didn't stop there. Nearly 300 schools and parks across Northern Ireland were closed. Transport was brought to a standstill. Ferries stayed docked. All flights from Belfast City Airport were cancelled, with Belfast's International Airport also warning of significant delays this morning. Storm Chandra has left more than a mess behind. Bin collections were hit today. Belfast City Council has warned of further disruption this week. The focus now shifts to a major clean-up operation over the next few days.
A multi-agency response to Storm Chandra will continue this evening. People are being urged to take extra care, especially travelling on flooded roads. Katie Andrews, UTV Live.
Emergency services again stand ready to evacuate homes in Monmouth. Storm Chandra has seen roads closed as the River Monnow bursts its banks. It comes just 2 months after Storm Claudia left her mark on the town, devastating homes and businesses in the worst flooding for 40 years. Hart's clothes shop only opened following those floods last Friday. Sian Cursor and her colleagues spent last night lying awake and listening to the rain. They were hoping they weren't going to see a repeat of last November.
After watching the weather forecast last night, we were all worried. Carrie, who's the owner of the shop, she couldn't get in this morning because of the water. So fingers crossed, nothing else is going to happen today.
A few doors down, the shoes and accessory shop lies empty. The carpets still lie in ruins. It won't be open for another 9 months at least. But owner Yvonne Perry says she worries about the local people who are still out of their homes tonight.
There are people in this town that had to be evacuated and are in hotel rooms. And these are elderly people.
And that's still the case today?
Yes, I saw one at the supermarket just recently, and all I could do is hug her. So, oh dear.
It's been challenging for Monmouth, hasn't it?
I feel for others. Not me.
This evening, the river levels are still going up as water continues to speed downstream.
Well, you can see the gate there behind me and the water gushing through from the River Monnow. Now, just to give you some idea, less than 2 hours ago, that water was only trickling through. It was nowhere near here. But as you can see now, I cannot get anywhere near that road because of how deep it is. And it is continuing to rise.
Monmouth has seen flooding in the past, but some say that it's becoming more frequent.
It used to be sort of like a 1 in 5 year event. Now it's every year, and sometimes it's twice a year. Not down the bottom of town. That seems to have been hopefully a one-off, but you never know with global warming what the impact's going to be. So as I say, we've really got to get on top of why we're seeing these extreme weather events and what we can do to be more resilient.
Upstream at Llangia, these have been the scenes on the A465 today. It's barely been passable in places. The River Monnow has swallowed up farmland and left a local church an island. Tonight, residents in Monmouth are hoping they've been spared this time, but there are still a few anxious hours ahead. Hannah Thomas, ITV News.
Before 7 o'clock this morning, the police put out a warning saying to people, do not go out on the roads unless it is absolutely urgent that you do so. The roads were completely impassable in so many areas around Exeter, Mid-Devon and East Devon. I want to show you these aerial pictures that we've got of the area around Waycroft Bridge, just the other side of Axminster from where I am now. Several vehicles stuck in the water there, up to their windscreens or even higher. Some of them that have been swept off the road. They've only just been recovered here this evening. The fire service told us earlier that they'd had to rescue people from at least 25 vehicles during the day. So it's just been so hard getting around. I've been speaking to some motorists around the area today who've just been finding it really difficult to get from A to B and actually quite scary out on the roads.
Oh, look at me, I'm shaking because I thought I was going to break down, halfway through that. There's about 100 yards of just pure deep water.
I tried to come down earlier because I was going to work in town in Axminster, and there was a car stuck maybe just over that little bridge bit, and there was another 4x4 dragging it out, so we turned around then.
We thought we were going to be stuck there phoning the AA, missing the train, but no, we squeaked through. But I wouldn't recommend it to anyone else.
You can sort of feel the weight of the water trying, pushing you really, but obviously I've got a snorkel, so I can sort of go a bit deeper, because obviously it sort of sucks air from there rather than under the engine.
Cars driving in it. Why they drive in it, I don't know. I'd advise anyone, don't do it. It's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. When you're in the middle of it and you can't go back, you just keep going forward and you think this is going to stop any minute. Yeah, my advice, gentlemen, is don't do it.
Homes have been flooded too. I was speaking to somebody in Axminster who lives right by the river who described the water was coming up through the floor. They actually had to open the doors of the house to let the water out. They knew it was coming, of course. They'd seen the warnings about this storm that was coming in, but there's just nothing they could do about it.
Whenever you hear about these storms now, you're always thinking, okay, sofas up on chairs, everything out of cupboards, things like that. Like, we had pumps, we were sweeping things out, and at one point I was like, look, there's just nothing we can do at this point because it's metric tons of water coming in and you're there with just a broom and a pump, and you feel like you're not able to do much against it, really. It's the power of nature.
Thankfully, the river levels have started to fall. The floodwater is beginning to recede. But behind me, the fields between the River Axe and the River Yardley here, just outside Axminster, it's a sea out there. There's so much water, so much mess still to clear up, abandoned vehicles still to recover. There's a lot of work still to do.
Day of mopping up at Tipton St John's garage. Staff had already spent up until midnight last night preparing for the worst, moving vehicles out and placing equipment up on the ramps, only to be back at just after 2 this morning when the Environment Agency flood warning came through.
It's quite heart-wrenching, really. Unfortunately, we do suffer from it. You never get used to it. At 3 o'clock in the morning when you're up to your waist in water, it's not a very nice place to be. The guys are all pulling together, and hopefully sort of 48 hours, we should be back up and running again.
Tipton St John is a village that has become used to flooding, but each time it's different. The last occasion in 2022 saw homes in the centre flooded out. But today they were saved, but only by an inch.
The top of the steps clear, so it did come up very quickly when we were up at 6. It was about a foot or so higher than it is at the moment, which was lovely. So we've had some nice wading, tortoise rescuing in action, one ginger cat that is determined to be outside, but has chosen not to be so far. Not what you want to happen. Tripping electrics. Sadly, one freezer and one washing machine probably lost, and no heating this morning.
Cara believes a flood defence bank built behind their homes may have saved them this time. The River Otter burst its banks earlier this morning, and yet again, Tipton St John's Primary School was surrounded by floodwater. It was just one of dozens of schools that had closed today around East and Mid-Devon.
The kids are happy, but it's quite sad. It's happened quite frequently. It's a bit of a shame, really.
We came down here in a farm vehicle, and it was flooded up to where we are stood now, and it was just all the water was rushing down the roads and all the farms being flooded and stuff like that. It was a bit scary because, like, yeah, I haven't ever seen the flood this big, and it was, yeah, just a bit weird.
Motorists who'd ventured round the corner here found themselves stuck.
We're told the river level has actually dropped significantly. The drivers of all these cars had to be rescued by the fire service earlier this morning.